Sorry I'm late, everybody.
Hail Trump! Hail our people! Hail victory!
You know what? I'm in the wrong room.
Yo! It's me, yes, the one, the only spectacular Scuba Stitch, and I'm on your screen right now because I haven't been on your screen in a hot minute. Let's talk about Star Wars Rogue One. Rogue One, a Star Wars story, is directed by Gareth Edwards, starring people such as Felicity Jones, Diego Luna, Donnie Yen, and Forrest Whitaker, along with many others. This movie really delivered on what it set out to be. This movie was going to be a war movie, and we got that. I do get what people say that it does have a different feel from a regular Star Wars movie. This movie does feel a little more enclosed and contained, even though we're still in a big budget movie. Just having a war-type film in this Star Wars universe, I think is something that everyone always wanted to see. And we did get some of it in the Attack of the Clones movie, but I feel like in this one, it's grittier, it's not as polished. We don't have Jedis flying around, chopping droids left and right. It's grittier. I do feel like this movie has some grit to it, and it was something that was missing from the previous Star Wars movie, which was something that people kind of knocked off of it. They said that Star Wars The Force Awakens was Disney-fied. Of course, with a Star Wars movie, you're always going to get flawless CG, and of course, we get state-of-the-art CG. It's absolutely seamless in this movie. We got to know visually what this story is and how the story unfolded. We never really knew. We just knew what the end game was. And I think that it was cool to see how things planned out and how things kind of rolled into A New Hope. I want to talk about some of the characters because I feel like the characters aren't the strongest part of this movie, and it's kind of what brings the movie down a little bit. But there are some standouts. I think that Felicity Jones does a really good job with the character. She is a fantastic actor, or actress rather. She brings what she can to this character. She really is one of the only characters that we have anything to latch onto. Another standout character to me was K2SO. Yes, another lovable droid in the Star Wars universe. Those just come in abundance now. Comedic relief fell only on K2SO, and I think that they handled that part of the movie, the comedy relief, into his character very well. He's very funny throughout the entire movie. A good way to segue into the negatives is going with the characters. There's kind of a lot of side characters, but none of them really do anything. None of them have any backstory. There's really no reason for us to care about what happens to these characters while they're in this big epic war. There's no weight to them. They're just characters that are there to look cool while they're fighting in this war. And that lets the movie down a little bit for me. I mean, it is a Star Wars movie, for crying out loud. These characters need to be stronger. We're not always going to get such an iconic character like Vader, but we need... in movies that had, even BB-8, Kylo Ren, we all know these characters already. And I feel like in a year from now, when we talk about Rogue One, who are the characters that are going to stand out? K2SO and Felicity Jones' character. And that's really it. I mean, those are really the only memorable characters that this movie has to offer. It's a little ironic that this movie started out with no opening crawl, because this movie could have definitely benefited from one. If you're not delved into the Star Wars lore, there's going to be points where you're kind of lost. And, not to say that I was lost necessarily, but there are times where you're going to get a little confused. It kind of felt like they didn't even know what they were doing at the beginning, since they didn't have no opening crawl. I mean, every movie so far in the Star Wars universe has had an opening crawl. And then we kind of just start in this movie, kind of jumpstart into the movie. And when we get to the title, Rogue One just comes up, and it looks like I did it on, Photoshop or something. I think that the last negative I want to touch on is probably just an opinion, but I'm just going to say it, and if you agree with me, or if you have anything to say about it, please let me know in the comments. If you're delved into the lore of Star Wars, you know what the endgame is. You know what happens to the Rogue One. So I do feel like in this amazing third act that we get, by the way, the third act is really incredible. It's just amazing, exactly what you came for, war-type movie in the Star Wars world. And it's perfect. It's really amazing to see. But I do feel like since we know what's going to happen, we know what the end game is, I do feel like there's a little bit of tension lost. There are kind of times when I was watching that third act where I was just like, this is great to see. It's great to see this story unfold, but I do know where this is going. I know exactly what's going to happen at the end of the movie. I could literally predict it. I do want to say that Vader is used sparingly, which I love about this. It's not a character that we should just be throwing in there all guns a-blazing. I think that he's used perfectly in this movie. I'm not going to spoil it, but I do want to say that visually, it's breathtaking stuff. And yeah, when he's there, he's there. There's so much more I want to talk about, but a lot of them contain spoilers. Maybe I'll do a spoilers review. Let me know if you want to see that. Get in the comments. But yeah, that's it. So anyway, let me know what you thought of Rogue One, a Star Wars story. All things considered, everything I said, I'm going to give this movie a solid 8.2. Obviously, you know it's going to be compared to Star Wars The Force Awakens, and it really depends on the type of person you are. It really depends on the type of movie you enjoy. But I do feel like Star Wars The Force Awakens is more of a solid movie, in my personal opinion. Anyway, I'm done rambling. Let me know what you thought of Rogue One. I'm Scuba Stitch from the 5th row, and I am gone.